right, let's look at simplifying and evaluating expressions. Um, so simplify the following expressions. So this is basically add, subtract, multiply, divide. Just basically do the arithmetic, right? So looking at some of the things that tend to have issues. So 15 minus negative 52. So the first thing I have to do is add the opposite here. Um, so we're going to do plus and plus, and we get 67. Next one, negative 12 minus negative 13. Same thing, I'm going to add the opposite here. So it's going to be plus 13. And I get positive 1. So here we're going to do some multiplication. So I have a negative times a negative times a negative. So the first two, a negative times a negative is a positive. And then a positive times a negative is a negative. Next one. So negative 63 divided by 3, a negative divided by negative is a positive. Okay, so here we go. I got a bunch of stuff here. Now, if you look at it, there's no multiplication, so it's all adding and subtracting. So we can do this all at the same time. The first thing that I like to do, you can see right here, before I did it, I went ahead and added the opposite right here with this 8 minus 17. So I just made that plus. And I also did it right here as well. Okay. So I can go ahead and add these first two together, which is really kind of like subtraction. So 5 negatives, 23 positives. Then I'm going to go ahead and add these ones together, and I get 10. Then I'll go ahead and add these together, 27. Then the last two, and I get 33. 5 divided by 0, boom. Go back, is undefined, right? See that 0 with a line through it? You cannot divide by 0. Negative 9 squared, okay, is positive 8. So what you're doing is you're multiplying two negatives, a negative 9 times a negative 9. Now this one, it actually reads like that. That negative is out front. So I'm going to square it first and then multiply by negative 1. I get negative 81. Very common mistake between these two right here. And when you say them, they sound exactly the same. Okay, but those parentheses make all the difference. 0 divided by 5, anything divided by 0 divided by anything is 5. So now we've got this division symbol. And so divisions kind of work like parentheses. You got to do the top and the bottom first. So up top, I'm going to go ahead and add the opposites. I'm going to make that plus negative 14. All right. So then I'll get negative 9 over 3 and then divide that out. All right. So same thing. Treat that division line like parentheses and do the top and the bottom first. So I'm going to get negative 45 on top, and then I'll just add on the bottom, and I get negative 5. Now we're going to evaluate. So I'm telling you x equals 3, y equals negative 4, and z equals negative 5. So I get y x squared. So what I'm going to do is use my substitution property and substitute them in. So for the y, I put in a negative 4. So here I'm going to follow my order of operations. And 3 squared is 9. Right? Do exponents before I multiply, then I multiply. Same thing, substitute in for the y, substitute in for the z. They're inside those parentheses, so I'll multiply those together first inside the parentheses, then I'll square it. I get 400. Z minus y. So now this is, we got to be very careful with this, because when we substitute, that negative right here stays there, and this y turns into a negative 4. So you can see that. Add the opposite. And there you go, negative 1. Y squared minus z. So substitute everything in first using parentheses. All right, square it. Then I'll go ahead and add the opposite. I get 21.